syntax shown by Dr. Sharifah is actually called Depthmap. Do you have the installation software for it? If not, I will pass to you guys as well. Okay, Dr. Adila, I will share with you.
Yeah.
But I think I better not share in
they
that group.
I guess they have no idea at all of what space
Okay.
syntax is because they
Okay.
have yet to join the class, kan?
Faham, no worries. I will share with you now, Dr. Adila.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So this is the installer. No worries, it is very light, not heavy at all. So you guys may install it while listening to me. Then either you can try side by side, or you can just watch first and then later on try it out lah. So generally, space syntax, the purposes and whatnot, I will leave it to your space syntax class in the future. But there are two, as far as I know, main users for space syntax. One is to study the interrelationship and visibility of the spaces within a building, but it can also be used to analyze the quality of the space in terms of visibility and whatnot, again, on an urban scale. So when we're talking urban scale, basically we're talking about the negative spaces, the roads, the trees, whatnot, because buildings will block your view, right? Something like that. So since today your focus is on urban pre-thesis, I will show you how to clean your file in AutoCAD using an urban scale, basically your location plan or key plan lah, and how to bring it into Depthmap. So just give me a moment while I take a clean file. One sec.
You share screen, Kak Irene?
Duk sharing, tapi kejap dia masih duk loading. Kejap.
Alright. Sure. Later you can share screen.
No worries. Sebab dia file dia besar. Okay. So usually since you're at an urban scale, sorry, to confirm, can you guys see my screen? I assume can. All right. Okay, thank you. All right. So generally, when you're talking about urban scale, I believe Dr. Adila has forwarded the CAD file in the group. So you will have a large scale file like this, maybe not this big lah, for your sites. So what you need to do first is to select the area that you want to analyze. Let's say, for example, here, or like what we did last time, KLCC, a certain radius around KLCC. Doesn't matter what shape you take, as long as you have a boundary, a limit to what you want to copy lah. So let's say I will just take some tiny area here, okay lah. Right. Say I just take this area for the heck of it, no need big. Okay. So of course, I believe most of you know, but the easiest way to extract just one small portion of your CAD file here relative to everything is not to slowly delete, but to use the command W block. So when you click W block or WB, you can choose the items that you have selected here, save it somewhere, say, okay. And always try to downgrade. The reason why I say downgrade is because Depthmap, at least the version that I'm sharing with you guys, is an older software. So older software may not necessarily recognize newer versions of your CAD file. So to be safe, just downgrade lah. So save it. Click OK. Wait a while. So now if I were to open, I get short form like this, a small one. So what you need to do now, before you can bring it into Depthmap, is to clear away all these Yeah, just now I believe I could have done that also, but I skipped it by that. So if let's say you are like me and terpilih, although I know I shouldn't, at this step I have to clean away all items that are not necessary for the space syntax. So you can go to quick selects or you can select similar, delete, right click, select similar, delete. And this one I believe is a roundabout, so I'll maintain it. Okay, so the next thing you need to know is, first thing, you have managed to extract whichever portion of the map you want to analyze in space syntax. That one easy. Second step is, if your purpose is to analyze the road, which is the urban area that's not building, then you need to create polylines. You need to enclose all the areas that you want to analyze. So for example, I'll just show you the final look. This is around KLCC. You can see that all the edges, all the boundaries that are at the limit of what we wanted to study, we close it up and it is more or less single line like this. You cannot have anything terbuka like that. If terbuka, then it will leak. You will have the lubang for the VGA to run later on. So you need to make sure you enclose everything. So for example, here, I know that, oh, I got, okay, I know that this is the road and this is the limit that I want, for example. So I will close it here, close it here, close it here. I think most of you should know how, but so I'll just show you a very small section only. Let's say I'll just take this much. Okay. At this point, you have two options. Either you want to draw it one by one like this, or you can use the command called boundary, BO. Let's say I know that this is the road area that I want to study. Very small, but it's just an example. It's okay. Rather than doing polyline one by one like this, going all the way like that, banyak susah, right? So once you enclose everything, save the file just in case your urban file is too heavy. You can go shortcut BO, click, click, and select this. Oops, if it says valid hatch boundary not found, that means that probably some of these lines are not fully flat. So give me a moment. So that's the reason why you might need to check your file first. Yeah, my ZWCAT cannot see 3D. Okay, tak apa. Okay, let me check elevation. One moment. Oh, elevation. Okay, my bad. Okay, give me a sec. Okay, there. See? This one is an issue. If you cannot create the boundary in AutoCAD, the Depthmap software will also find issues with it. So for example, we can see over here also it's not complete. So if really cannot, then you use polyline. But let's say this is the area that I want to study. Oh. Yeah, I need to figure out why. My bad. Okay, so let's say I got something like this. Select similar. And just to double check first before you be out, you can see that more or less you have your roads enclosed already. So at this point, you can clean it up again because you only want the roads. You do not want your buildings. So you do not want all this corner ones, or you do not need for your analysis. Because again, what you want, the end result is just the road, the negative space in the urban area. So you can either delete like this or you can BO again lah. I believe most of you are familiar with AutoCAD, so I won't go through this so much. So So far, everyone clear? If yes, I'll move on to the next step. Okay, yeah, all right. So when it comes to AutoCAD, this is all you have to do when it comes to cleaning or preparing the file before you bring it into Depthmap. So it's quite simple. So if let's say I were to throw all this away because I don't want to do so much, you can do this. And one last time to make your file light, you can purge. So the keyword is to press space and PU, just purge all. Yes to all until it's all clear. And then you can save your file as DXF. They do not recognize drawing file. So choose DXF. Again, as I mentioned, choose an older version because at least the DevMap version that I have is an old file. So save it as DXF. So next is to bring it over into this. Wait, let me just create a new one. One sec. Okay. All right. So when it comes to the XF files, okay, wait, one second. I will be frank because I don't have Looper, so I also will need to open the tutorial file next to me. Okay, so to open the file, this software, the only way you can click open is if you have the specific file type already, which is the .graph file type. Otherwise, anything else is considered an import because this is for you to analyze the space syntax within or around the space, not specifically a CAD software. So what you need to do is to go to File, click New. You will get a blank file here. In order to bring your DXF file in, go to Map, click New. Click Import. And import, say, import the KLCC one for you to have more to see. But basically, you can see that it is a DXF file cleaned in the same way that I showed you just now. Combination of polyline, boundary, and purge. So if you were to open it, this is basically what you see in CAD lah. Okay, how to pan around? For those who are familiar with, basically Revit CAD also okay lah. If you were to right click your mouse and move around like this, you will move to the pan command of this software. If you want to zoom in, zoom out, you can use the scroll button, very much like AutoCAD, but sometimes it is a little bit not so stable. So if it is not stable and you want to control manually in the software, select either the pan button here, or if you want to zoom into a specific place and it's very stubborn, click this magnifying glass and just zoom to a particular spot. Okay, so far I think this one is all right lah. So again, like with any analysis, including your environmental analysis simulation software later on, the first thing that you need to do is to create a grid. Okay, so you can see here, there is a button called Set Grid. The first thing you need to do is to import the file. The second thing you need to do is to set the grid within this square area so that it can start to analyze. The concept is similar to Enviro software that we'll show you later on. The finer the grid, the more things it analyzes per area, something like that. So if I were to click set grid, there is a spacing involved. This spacing here, the general suggestion in this tutorial file that you can see on my left is actually human scale, about 0.75 meters to 1 meter for building scale. But that would make an urban scale like this really, really fine. It's very detailed, which is good if you have the computational power. But if you don't have, you can so-called increase it a little bit lah, just to test and play around with the software. Once you're familiar and you think that your computer can handle it, you can reduce the spacing to get more detailed results. Okay. So again, spacing, set it as fine as possible, but for testing purposes, go rough first and click OK. So you can see that they have created, but in this case, square lah, because my area is a circle, right? For this area here. But this software actually does not know which area you want it to analyze yet. Right now, if you give it a grid and ask it to analyze everything, it will throw an error. So what you need to do is you basically need to tell it, paint it where you want it to analyze. So the way you do that is by selecting this paint bucket here. So paint bucket, click on the area that you want to analyze. You can see that it has started to color. Yeah, like this. So, but it did not color everything. So again, you need to pan, like this small area, too small for it to select, you need to click again. Okay, now you can see that there's a slight error because the thing is very small. So it could not select within the group here. So two options, either you can keep selecting and keep zooming in until you can paint, or if you really, really cannot paint, like you see, I keep painting, and then somehow it painted out of the box already. Second option is you can use the pencil tool here to sort of like catch the, not called error, but the shortcomings in this depth map. So, for example, let's see if I can. Something like this. It will also recognize as okay. It's a way to close this line later on. So again, you can repeat that all the way throughout this file. You can see here that, okay, this is open space, that's fine. But this small road is not being covered. So first things first, you can try to use the paints tool, click it. Hopefully it gets it, but now you can see, oops, actually it didn't. It accidentally selected the building. So another way you can do is, let's say, just now I told you to try with a rough mesh first, right? If let's say you see that this problem is persistent, it's continuous, no matter what you do, you cannot solve this. What you can do is, if you notice, you can see that all this paints bucket tool is doing is painting each individual square, each grid, each pixel within this urban area. So if let's say really, really, really cannot, we can always restart this. New file, again, map, not new, import, ALCC, set to a smaller grid. Just now I tried 10 and cannot, right? Let's go for 3. Again, this is finer. It might take a bit more time. But now, if you were to go to paints and select, yeah, you can see why I said depends on your computer. I believe korang punya computer semua hebat-hebat kan, so it's okay lah. Okay, now you can see when the resolution is smaller, the grid is finer, it is able to follow your road more closely. Especially in this case, it's a back lane. Kampung Baru dah lah, the road not even 20 feet one. It's very small. But because now your grid is small enough, it can paint the entire road and still have area that is being simulated. This gray area means it's simulated. The green is like the boundary lah, the outer boundary of the lines, like this. Yeah. Sabar ya. Okay. So you can see that it has done quite a good job. Besides open area, that's fine. Okay, here. Let's say I notice that this huge area here, oh gosh. Okay, this huge area, let's say it is a building area. It is not supposed to be part of your analysis. You want to remove it. How? First things first, you can always zoom in, try to find where on earth your lubang is. This is why I said that there may be leaking issues if, let's say, there's a gap in your polyline or more rarely your boundary, especially if you have Z elevation that is not 0. So somewhere it is letting the paints leak into this area. So you need to find it and close it. So how to close again, you use the pencil tool. But in this case, because I have no idea where it is, Let me go back to my CAD file. Here, right. And just do a quick diagnosis. Boundary. Pick. Yes, I cannot pick the valid hatch boundary. Therefore, there's actually an area that is not closed somewhere here. So for now, I will just ignore it first because the main point here today is to show you how to use only. But now you can see what potential problems you can face if, let's say, I really do not close this before I bring it into Depthmap. Since Depthmap, again, is not a CAD-specific software, it is a simulation software. Any patches or any fixes that you want to do in this file is a bit more troublesome compared to AutoCAD because you're already very familiar with AutoCAD. So I suggest you do the cleaning there as properly as you can first before you bring it in here lah. Okay. Oh my god, the rendering. Okay, never mind. So ignore this later when you see the results. You will see it. Okay, sabar je lah. Alright. Okay, never mind. You ignore that green, that gray area later when it comes out in the results here. So far I have showed you again, just to recap. Number one, how to clean your file in CAD. Number two, save it as DXF. Number three, open a new file, but to import the DXF under the map function. So next is I will show you how to start the simulations. So there are several types of simulations available using this software. I will generally show you, but after this, I believe your space syntax subject will teach you in more detail. So one of the analysis that you can do under space syntax is the visibility graph analysis. In other words, it's how visible one spot of your building or your map is relevant to another site, like how visible it is. Okay. So the way you do it is go to Tools, Visibility, and make visibility graph. I hope my laptop doesn't die, but let's try. So you can select here. You can look at the manual as well if you want. So I will leave this blank as per these recommendations and click OK. Okay. While we are waiting, any questions so far? I believe your computer will be faster than mine, so don't be worried looking at the time, okay? Questions. I assume everyone is clear. So if that's the case, then taking over from Dr. Adila for a while. So how is your progress for the urban or I say group work? Are you working with the Enviro group to share some of the data? Sorry, Dr. Adila, I think hitting very boring. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right.
Maybe you can share some related to environmental aspect because we have to apa orang kata to cover some part of it.
Okay. Sorry, I did not join your discussion earlier. So how's your group? So far, the background information, the history of Clang, all that already done in progress. Okay. Because those things are common, you see, no matter whether it's you do or we do. I'm from Enviro anyway.
That's info that they can share together.
Let's end up, to be frank, even if that section is exactly identical, it doesn't matter. The only difference is going to be in the presentation format sahaja.
Betul.
So that is what we suggest you can share with us from Enviro. Of course, you can take our environmental simulation data and put in as well. No issue. We are very happy to share that, I believe. So right now, what is the main issue preventing you from contacting them? Is it because you don't know who your seniors are yet? Okay, you know you. Have you gotten in contact with him before? this semester.
Yeah, I think you should discuss with environmental unit as well. Maybe we can cross info.
Yes, yes. Yeah, actually, we did inform our panel that you guys can work together.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
that, to be fair, I think maybe they didn't have your contact.
Tu lah kan.
Maybe. So it's okay. If that's the case, I think I do have most of your numbers at the moment. So I'll give you several options to contact them. One, I give you the student reps contact and you liaise with them. Or if you want, we can create a temporary group for you guys to intro each other. And then later I get out lah. I won't touch out you guys nanti segan gila. Kesian. So, okay, if you're okay, I'm okay one. All right. So if that's the case, then I'll just create a group quickly for you guys, and I will inform the student rep panels lah. Give me a moment since my laptop is waiting anyway. I create now. You are urban residents, is it?
Resonance, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Enviro is that if your grade is very fine, it's going to take a while. Unless your laptop is very good, which in my case is not lah, unfortunately. Zainab Bavi. Sorry, Zainab Bavi.
Zainab here. My group.
I see. I think maybe I need to save a number. One moment, So I will add you later on. Give me one sec. Do you mind to share your number in the chat?
Because
Nanti. I'm a very forgetful person, believe it or not.
same with me.
I'm growing old already.
Even students' name also I also forget.
Right. Aduh. You did. Hang on, just 3 more from Emiro and then I should be done. So, scroll down. I shut. On chat in that group. In the meantime, I will just zoom out and show you what this looks like. doesn't die. Okay, I'll just zoom into a small part because it's taking quite a while to render on my end, but I believe your computers should be fine. Okay, you can see now that whichever closed polyline areas that I have selected in CAD now has been color coded or hatched, whichever you want to call it lah, with many, many colors. Right now, it is being skewed because I tak tutup this part. So the way you interpret this color or this scale lah, correct color lah, in space syntax is the brighter the color or the redder the color, the more visible it is. The cooler the color, in this case blue, the less visible it is. Right now it is being skewed because I have a very huge open space here, which according to this software, if I were to look from this road, looking at this area, I pun nampak. Looking from this road, I pun nampak. Looking from this road, I pun nampak. That's why you can see that the color is very bright here. It is highly visible from many different angles of your urban context. And that is why you can see the rest of the roads are basically blue. Because if I were to look at this corner, the only thing I can see is this road and this road. Only two directions, or maybe three if I'm lucky. So in comparison to this place, which basically most of the roads are leading to this, maybe this is a central square, for example, like KLCC. This one has relatively low visibility. That's why, again, it is blue. Those that are slightly more visible, but not as hebat as this, you can see that it is a lighter blue. Because this guy potentially can be seen and accessed from here, from here, from here, maybe also from here a little bit. So you can see that actually is a color gradient. But so that you are not so skewed by these results, I think I will try to correct back. Last time, yes, okay. So this is the PowerPoint slide that we prepared last time back in cohort 1. So you can see that if, let's say, you manage to close all the roads nicely and properly, not like me who cheated just now, then you can see the hierarchy of the roads, not in terms of their size, but in terms of how visible they are relative to each other. So the analysis that I performed just now was called VGA, standing for Visibility Graph Analysis. So generally, you can see that the areas that have intersections here are more visible. It is brighter compared to all these tertiary, smaller roads or lorong in this case because it was Kampung Baru. So that's how you interpret or understand the space syntax graph, specifically the VGA. There are others also. So this part, understand tak? It's starting to get a little bit technical, I know.
You all okay tak? Jangan senyap je.
Itulah. Senyap, I takut ni. Okay.
Nanti you try and
If you don't understand, just ask. I will be frank, my specialization is not really in urban, but yeah, I will try my best to explain if you have any questions. The main thing right now for today especially is jangan diam. Because this software...
Betul. Please tanya.
Yeah, really. Listen to your lecture.
Nanti kita Irene busy, I dah tak dapat nak booking dia. Baik you all gunakan dia hari ni. Please ask her about this.
You can try to ask Dr. Sharifah also. Okay. Yeah, it depends because I will be frank. The information that you can find online for space syntax and specifically this software is not much. Now with AI, maybe you can find a bit more. But last time during my time, all we had was the manual that I shared with Dr. Adila just now. You can go through. That was it. Good luck to us last time. So we did a lot of trial and error to try to understand what this thing was. So to save you some headache and hopefully a lot of time, jangan segan, please ask. If you don't ask, I assume you guys understand. So I'll be very happy that I teach you guys successfully. Cik lah. All right. Yep. Okay. All right, sure. Good questions. Okay. The first thing is when it comes to how do I define which area to simulate? Frankly, that will depend on your urban designation. In terms of now, I believe you guys have two groups. Let's say if this is your whole urban area, and this thing is, let's say, let's measure, take an exact one. It is about, apa ni? Sekejap. Guys and girls, this is why you need a stronger laptop for makan, okay. So this thing is 2.83 kilometers because this thing right now is a very small scale. You guys, are you guys taking a 1 km radius or 5 km radius for your side? Yeah. Okay. So if that's the case, that's how you define how much you should do. In this case, KLCC last time, this thing was 1.5 km. So we drew a circle. But it doesn't need to be a circle, it can be a square. Doesn't matter. Like this. If you can see, it is corresponding. Does that answer your first question? Okay, that's great. So that's how you know how much you need to draw. Please don't draw the whole of KL. Even if you don't die, I think your laptop will die. So, okay, next question. You were asking about the integration and later on the correlation, right? I will use this same Depthmap file that I have right now, although the results are off sikit because of this open area. Just to show you guys. Okay, if you can see on the left side of my screen, is actually the tutorial. So anything that you are not sure technically, you can refer back to this. We mostly use this as a reference last time. So next question, you are asking about the connectivity. In fact, once you have generated this, and if you were to go to the next page of the tutorial, you can see that they have highlighted here a few outputs. One of it being connectivity. Ayo, sekejap. So you can see here, if you hover the mouse on the graph correspondingly, you can select this. But right now, I already locked it to one portion of my screen, and that's why you can always see it here. Otherwise, it is disimpan masuk punya. You can see this. Okay. So you can check a few things. I think for urban, you may not need this step so much. This is the step depth. So how many rooms you need to go through in a building in order to reach, say, this room right here. If I am here, how many steps to reach here? If I am here, how many steps to reach here? That is called step depth. I think this one we won't go through too much, at least for urban scale, because you just want to know enough to prepare your group report. So, okay, right now what you want to do is you want to run your visibility graph analysis in order to get the integrated value. So if you to go here, again, go to tools, visibility. Just now we made the graph, right? We just created the color. But what does the color mean? Sometimes it's a bit hard to see, right? So that's where you go to tools, visibility, run visibility graph analysis. So this time again, I hope it doesn't die. So calculate visibility relationships. Can you see it? So I think right now tak payah lagi. Okay, let's be okay. Let's see. Then we wait. So while we wait, I will move on to the convex map. Tak payah. Yeah, this one is more within buildings. Okay, the next thing that I might need to show you is the axial map. Once my Depthmap is alive. So the difference between the VGA, I will show you the correlation map later on once it's generated. So in the meantime, I will just quickly explain to you what is axial map. Just now was visibility graph. So you can see from there which areas are more visible from more angles at the same time. So that's why you can see when it comes to analyzing space impacts on roads, generally the intersections are the ones that get the highest visibility. Unless you have a huge open area, then that area is slightly the more visible one. So next thing is axial map. So just now you were looking at, I would say, considered area lah, because you hatch the surface area of the road, right? So now when you're looking at axial map, you are reducing the roads from just now all these funny curve lines to just single line and straight. That's it. So right now, when it comes to this, again, you will notice that it is color coded. It is all straight line. It does not accept curve. This simulates your line of sight. Because, you know, we humans, our eyes are in front of our faces, in front of us, not to the sides. So all we can see is in front of us. So that is why all these are drawn as straight lines, segments, I would say. Oh my God, 3 hours. Okay, I think I am sorry, I will not run this, but you guys can run it in your own time for your visibility graph analysis. So once you are done, you should be able to access the correlation graph that Sokyam was talking about in here. I will not run this. I tak nak mati. Sorry, guys. All right, so I'll move on to the Excel map then. So hopefully I can without running the analysis. So again, to run this map, if you have it, you go to map and convert drawing map. As if you have one. If you do not have, then wait, let me see if I can come to here. Yes, okay. You have to import the map here already. You can click on this icon here. Yeah. Okay, this icon here to generate the Excel map for you. But again, this is on the condition that you have all nice close polylines. Which in this case I don't, so I expect some error, but it's okay. Let's see. So see appear then. Yes. She doesn't want to appear because this thing here is dominating. So in that's the case, then I will show you a secondary one. Yeah. If that one doesn't work, then I will show you this is KL's one. So you could see just now all this curvy and whatnot. Once we conducted the Excel analysis here by clicking on this thing here, it will become like this, all segmented. Let me find the exact same area and open it side by side. So okay, this is the area. This thing here corresponds to this thing here. So you can see that initially, I'll just zoom into this part to show you more clearly. Okay. The initial one actually had a lot more roads. You can see over here, actually, there's double layer, probably because there's car park here. And over here, there's actually a closed road. But in the Excel map, it disappears. Like even here, you see you have roundabout, but in the end, it only notices one. Because the Excel map, again, it reduces this analysis to your line of sight. And you always just look straight. You can turn your head, but your line of sight is still a straight line. So they are assuming that from here, when you look, you can look up to say somewhere here, but you may not be able to see something here if there's a tree or whatever blocking. So it assumes that you need to walk until here, which is this point, before you can look straight and look whatever thing is over here. But that is what all these lines mean. So then you will also get certain areas here, like this is the part if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. very curvy. But once it comes here, it will assume that, let's say when you're at this intersection here, same as just now, when you're standing here, looking here, and let's say this is fully blocked, the only thing you can see is up to this point here. Beyond this, it vanishes into the distance. You need to walk under here before you can see, so on and so forth. That's how you interpret Excel map. And again, this is not colored, but if you were to go into the manual and if you successfully run this, you will actually be able to see a lot more lines like this. So again, this is like a final detail of what you saw just now. Just now, single line just show you one road. That's it. But now this one, if you can simulate in more detail, you can see within the road itself, because sometimes the road is very wide, when you stand in the middle of the road versus when you stand just to the corner, let's say along the sidewalk, what is the difference in the visibility level that you get there? So that's why you can see certain areas, the corner here, it happens to be redder, and the center is actually cooler, something like that. Okay, linking, I think I won't show too much for this one. Yeah, the graph analysis will be like this, except that it is in graph form. You can see here. So again, the hotter it is, the color, sorry, the more visible, the more things you can see, and the more things can see you. Okay, I think the rest I can leave it to your space syntax class. But you can see, for example, if let's say you have the time to do it on a larger scale, then you can study the urban implications of your, not yours lah in this case, but the urban planner's design. You can see where the nodes are, the hot areas. How many roads are interconnected to each other? How easily are they seen? And where are they? How are they being distributed? Let's say if you go on a larger scale, usually 1 km tak nampak sangat. So you can see this one is on a scale of 50 km. Okay. So yeah, when you're talking about the graph, sorry, Soyan, that I cannot show you directly because laptop cannot tahan. But if you're done with all your analysis already and you want to create a correlation graph, it can either come up with X like this, or let me see if it shows. Not show. Okay, never mind. It can come up either in an X like this, or if you have enough points, it will come out as per the assignment that I have shared. Which is like the funny, a lot of dots one. So the way you go there is to go to the top menu window here, go to table, and select which type of plot you want. This thing with all the X with an X-axis and Y-axis is called a scatter plot. It basically maps the integration to what already I forgot already. To the, oh, it's also integration, sorry. I forgot what it meant already. Okay. All right, never mind. So you can show more than one if you want. And you can also set the color range. Like for example, I know very well that this open space is very visible, too visible until I cannot analyze the road because everything looks blue now. So I can adjust the color range here. Adjust until what level should be blue, whether instead of 3 colors, I want to change to other colors or not. That one you can play around. But usually I leave this to the basic one, 3 color, so that I can see which part is visible, which part not visible. And you just play around with what is the maximum value you can see here should be red, and what is the minimum value for blue. So if I start pulling and I hope my laptop does not die, let's try. Okay, you can see that that one is changing already, but you play by yourself. And then if you want to see your centroids also can, but all this usually we don't. Okay, I think the rest of it is just how to export. It's pretty straightforward lah. It is not as nice, I would say, as some of the more complicated software you have. So generally what we do is we export last time as SVG file. SVG file is the file format that you use for your PowerPoint files. If you remember, it looks a little bit like PNG, meaning the background is transparent. But it's basically a difference in file format in the way they render the thing only. So again, I think you just go to export. Copy, I think copy screen. It's very easy. Hey. yeah, I can copy screen or export screen, as you can see here. So either you can copy paste or you can directly export it as EPS or SVG, say for example. Okay, yeah, EPF or SVG, and just save wherever you want. After that, you can paste it into your report or your file. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't run the full analysis here on my laptop, but you guys can try and see. Try it maybe with a smaller area first. This one, as I mentioned, is 1.5 kilometers radius. So this here to here is what 3 km. So as you can see, it took a few minutes for my computer to run, but yours is probably faster. You can test in a smaller area first. Make sure you understand how to use the software. Only you go on to the bigger one. Okay. Again, I am sorry, I'm actually not specialized in this. So I may not be able to show you as much as possible. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you.
Yep. Anything. Okay. Hmm. 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 Okay. That's actually also another very good question. Okay. One of the limitations, at least on the current DevMap file, is that it does not take into consideration multi-tier roads. Like what you're talking about, flyover on top and then below there's still a road, right? Which is very common in areas like Wangsa Maju, KLCC, or that. Okay. Unfortunately, at least this version of that, as far as I am aware, it does not take that into consideration. But what it does consider is the human skill. So, in other words, if you let's say you assume that you're walking on the ground, whatever road is on the ground, what do you see? So unfortunately, you cannot yet analyze two layers of roads. You just assume that everything is flat first. I think at our area, not so many, right? Flyover areas at Klang. That was near where we met that day, isn't it? Still, then again, the good thing about that particular flyover is that it is pretty much aligned. It's parallel to the road below. So whatever you can see down there, basically from up there, you also can see one. It's still okay lah. But yeah, that's one limitation of this version of the software. I believe it might still be developed further by UCL, University of what? California, Cambridge, whichever. They are the ones who developed this software. So maybe in newer versions they may have it lah, but this version does not have. Okay. If that's the case, I think you guys may go back and work on this space syntax. Any questions? Either you can ask Dr. Sharifa or you can try to ask me. I will hope I will try to remember what to do. So I would say since we are still here, perhaps if you want, you can roughly let me know what you guys have done already for your urban group work, and then we can see what else missing on top part one.